Solo retirement can be hard, and we definitely get that. We're lucky because we have each other, but we've coached many solo retirees and have many friends that are thriving in that space.
And they're thriving because they're putting in the effort.
Living a life alone can be difficult, and retiring alone only compounds that feeling of perhaps loneliness.
During your career, we all had built-in communities. We had colleagues, we had customers, all kinds of people in our life. But when you leave that behind, you need to find ways to rebuild that community or create a new one.
And if you don't rebuild that community or find new communities, you may end up on the slippery slope of being lonely. 12 million adults over the age of 65 actually live alone, and that is 27% of the population. The majority of them are women, so you're not alone.
Those numbers are staggering, aren't they? It
They
really
are.
is incredible when we found that out. But today we're going to walk you through 5 ways that you can build community and thrive in retirement as a solo retiree. We did another video on solo retirement, 7 tips to ward off loneliness, and we'll put that link below. But today it's all up and positive and finding new ways in which you can thrive.
And really, today we're going to give you our top 5, I think.
Yep.
Top 5 ways to thrive as a solo retiree. And it's funny, we had the opportunity to meet a woman in Old Saybrook, actually, and she was telling us how she thrives as a solo retiree. She was an ex-executive at a financial institution, moved away from where her job was, I believe Boston.
She did. She had an amazing career,
Right.
surrounded by a lot of people.
A lot of community. Ended up picking a beautiful place in Old Saybrook and came down. And her first 52 weeks of the year, she made a choice, and a powerful choice, to do something new every week.
Yeah,
So
she started.
52 new
She
things.
did hiking, cycling. I don't know if she did basket weaving, but I
No.
mean, probably not. But she did. She called a friend for dinner.
She made a
tried new restaurants.
Conscious effort to do something new, one thing,
Every
big
week.
or small, every week.
Kept a list, checked it off as she did it. She did some things with the same friends, like they did restaurants together, but it really showed a huge commitment on her part
To put herself out there.
to put herself
Yeah.
out there, to not just say,
Right.
well, I'm alone now and I'll just be alone. It takes work and it takes effort, but she's crushing it.
Yeah.
So today we want to talk to you a little bit about some of the ideas that you can do to really thrive in this time of your life.
The first one, and for those of you who've watched us before, you might sit back and say, here we go again. But the first one is habits and routines. During your career, you had built-in routines. In retirement, you might be easy to slide into sleeping a little late or waking up at different times or getting up and immediately, especially as a solo retiree, turning on the TV just so there's more noise in the house and maybe watching the news over and over
Yeah.
and over again,
Yeah.
which we have done.
We did that during our career,
Right.
but it's having different and better habits and routines that are going to help you. So here's a suggestion. It is a great system to start getting up at the same time every day. So if you get up...
And by the way, it doesn't have to be 4 a.m.
No, I'm saying if you get up at 7 or 8 or 9 or 7:30 or 6:30, whatever, pick a time. So you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to set my alarm for 7:30. If you get it before that, great. But if you don't, you start getting up every day at 7:30. And if that's a comfortable time, then do that. And the other thing you need to couple with that is you need to get your 7 or 8 hours of sleep. So you need to make sure you go to bed the night before at a good time.
And at a consistent time.
Right.
And you do that really well. Then once you have your time and you're ready to wake up for the day, have a plan and some discipline around your morning. Maybe say to yourself, I'll do one cup of coffee,
Watch the
a
TV.
little bit of
Yep,
news,
yep.
and then I'm going for a walk, or I'm going to exercise, I'm going to plan my day, I'm going to call a friend, I'm going to write in my journal.
right.
But really put some movement after that first cup of coffee or tea or whatever. Actually, the first thing you should do is drink a glass of water. But
8
that's
ounces of water.
That's a whole nother
Well, but the
video.
idea here is to get some regular routine in place.
Right.
Think about while you're having your coffee, instead of watching TV, call one of your kids if you have kids, or call a friend. But basically, we want to get you away from getting hooked on TV for 3 or 4 hours, because we have friends and clients that do that, and it's a hard habit to break.
Right.
So
So that's the first one. Really finding that comfortable time to wake and to go to bed, and then start with some movement.
Yeah.
Which leads really great into the second one, which is exercise. We cannot emphasize enough how much exercise needs to be a part of your retirement for your wellness. I know Mark mentioned that, but this really needs to become part of your everyday routine and your journey. We mention it again
and as
because
a solo person, it's hard though, right?
it is. It's
So
hard,
you're by
but
yourself at home. What do you do?
it's self-motivating, and reminding yourself that you deserve this. You deserve to feel well. You deserve to feel the endorphins and the energy. And, it could be as easy as joining a local gym or YMCA or,
Yeah, because
I push yoga classes.
Well, you
but
do, and yoga's good because you're in and out. But if you join the local YMCA or a gym, it's not that expensive,
Right.
and there are senior discounts. But the thing is, you can find classes in there. You can find community.
Right.
It's a really great way to instantly have a new community, feel better about yourself, start maybe losing weight. Who knows? But if you're exercising every day, you're just going to feel better.
And it's funny you say that. I really think this phase of life for me, and I'd be happy for people to leave comments below, but it's less about losing the weight. I feel like I lived my whole life that way. This phase of life, my exercise is for community and wellness and peace and self-motivated.
Right. It's how you
It feels
feel.
very
It's-
different to
Yeah,
me.
instead of being on a diet, you're just on the rest of your life journey to feel good,
To feel better.
to build muscle and all of that. So it's great.
So the third way in solo retirement is to really think about finding a hobby, a consistent hobby that you can weave into your week. I know we talk about this quite a bit, and you might say to yourself, I don't have one, but try this. Walk through a local craft store, see if they have any classes, think back in your life, and what were some of the hobbies you liked but you didn't have time for? I know for me, it was painting.
Which you have all the material.
I do.
You just we have to fit that in somehow.
I
But
do.
you did always want to paint.
I did. So, signing up for a painting class or even a cooking class could
Yeah, but
be really
but
fun.
here's the thing around hobby, because we hear people struggle with this all the time. You've got to decide, yes, I'm going to find a hobby, and be deliberate about your search. You remember how you search for a job? Do you remember how hard you worked on that project at work? Treat this idea of finding a hobby just like that. Treat it as a project. You're not going to do it in 10 minutes, but work on it every day. And if you want, find a friend and say, hey, let's start doing something together, whether
Right.
it's crafting or whatever, but work on it with a friend and put a plan in place to keep working on this, to come up with a hobby. There are Google most favorite hobbies. Something will come
Right.
to you
Definitely.
that you can jump on.
The fourth tip to thrive as a solo retiree is volunteering. I know you've heard this from us before, but we want you to stop and really think about this.
Okay, so the whole idea about volunteering is it gives you something to do and you're helping others, but you also get something back. If you think about some of the causes that are important to you, whether it's politics, and we have a good friend who volunteers a lot all around the country to get candidates elected. That's what she does. She works on Twitter for them for free. And she feels like she's doing something. If you love children, you could read at the public library. Or if you love animals, volunteer at the local shelter.
I think a really good point about finding those things you feel really strongly about, in this idea of creating community, you are also putting yourself with people who feel really strong and passionate about those same causes.
Right.
Maybe a disease is your passion. The list can definitely go on, but just make the initiative and take the step to say, yes, I will look for an organization.
Yeah, you will get instant community. The fifth tip, how to thrive in solo retirement, is to start a book club or a discussion group.
And it's harder than you think.
It is.
Don't say that lightly. We tried it.
No, well, and we had some success. A book club, a weekly, monthly discussion group, or I think we talk about cooking. We talked about that as a way to do it. But start small. Get one friend, meet them for coffee, and say, hey, this was fun. Let's each bring another friend next month.
And it doesn't just have to be for coffee. You could do it for dinner. I follow Oprah's book club and Reese Witherspoon's book club, and On Facebook, there's a big group called Renee's Reading, which is also a really great book club. It just gives me inspiration to search for different authors and to look for things that might be really interesting to read. And you don't have to buy the books. You know, your local libraries
Sure.
in each of the communities are still a great resource for current, literature for sure.
You know, in our retirement, now that we're around during the day, we're not in the office working, I notice, particularly in the morning, these groups of men having coffee. And when we were in Florida over the winter, I saw a lot of that. And I said to Jody, maybe I'll do that. So I started having breakfast with one friend that I knew from up in New York, down in Florida. And for a couple of months we had breakfast and we talked about relationships, we talked about vulnerability,
books,
talked
right?
about books and our kids. And we said, well, why don't we build this out? So the last time we met back in May, we had I think we had 12 men at this breakfast, and it's an instant group, and we don't all agree on everything, but we have community to share ideas, which really, really has been helpful.
Right. The other thing that's kind of fun is sometimes after events morph after your book club, like maybe a few people then want to join you at a cooking class, or maybe a good friend of yours is a good cook and will teach the group. So I think the idea is really just putting yourself out there.
Yep. Now, we did a video on how to make cooking more enjoyable. We'll put that link below because cooking really is I'd call it a hobby for us now, right? But how to make it more enjoyable. So that link will definitely be down below.
Solo retirement can be hard, and we definitely get that. We're lucky because we have each other, but we've coached many solo retirees and have many friends that are thriving in that space.
And they're thriving because they're putting in the effort. They've got their morning habits and routines. They volunteer. They exercise every day. They're living a fulfilling retirement, and you can actually do the same thing too.
Listen, if you've enjoyed this, please share with your friends, and also please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button.
Thanks for listening, and we look forward to being with you again soon.